I figure I'll let you start because I think I started the first couple of times with the number 3. So.
Okay. Let me see who I picked. Oh, I guess. Yeah, I was thinking about it, and Sigourney Weaver didn't make the list. Not the top 3 anyway.
Oh yeah, that would have been a good choice though.
Yeah, I love her, but yeah, I went with Charlize Theron. Like,
Okay,
I like her
another good
from
choice.
Mad Max and Aeon Flux. So those are primary.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Monster. It's like I know she was great in it, but
Yeah.
it's not a movie I care about.
Fair. I actually haven't seen Monster either, but it is a movie I would definitely watch. It's been on my list for like, I don't know, 2 decades, however long it's been out,
Right.
and I just haven't gotten around to it. But damn, that actually, it's not going to make me change any of my choices, but that's a really good pick because she's fucking awesome. I'm thinking of all the stuff she's in. Loved her in Atomic Blonde. Have you seen that?
Don't think so. It's like I was watching Fear and Loathing, and that was Cameron Diaz. So, whoops,
Oh,
I wasn't.
yeah.
No, I
There's a
haven't
lot
seen
of
it.
random people that pop up in Fear and Loathing.
Yeah,
Um,
I think my favorite is Tobey Maguire, like Spider-Man.
yeah, yep. And Christina Ricci.
Mhm. She didn't have a
Um,
huge part though. She was just kind of there.
yeah. I mean, she was in it about as much as Tobey Maguire was, maybe a little more. Because
Yeah,
they like run into her on the street at one point, and they same with him.
yeah, and then there's a
Oh, and Gary
whole.
Busey.
Yeah, Gary Busey was great. But anyway, we're not supposed to be talking about that yet.
It's okay. I mean, it's a tangent. It's a side tangent. But
Yeah.
yeah, Charlize Theron, Atomic Blonde. If you like action movies and like kind of spy movies, she's like a spy in Berlin during the partition, during in
Right.
like East Berlin,
Atomic Blonde.
and yeah, yeah,
Oh,
and it's
okay.
mostly kind of an action movie. Like she kicks a lot of ass in that movie, and it's fun.
Okay,
It's kind of a yeah.
so when you said that, I was thinking of one of those like stupid comedy movies.
Yeah, no, it's not really a comedy. I mean, there's some silliness because it's like kind of over the top action,
Yeah,
but not like super over the top. It's
like Mad Max. I guess it's
yeah,
the newer one. What is it? Damn, I forget the name of it.
Furiosa.
Yeah, yeah, that one. I
I
didn't.
really want to see it. I haven't.
I didn't see the CGI one that they just made a couple years ago. I was just looking at that, and I
I
was just like, why you you've taken the very essence of the movie and just threw it out the window.
Yeah, and doing the opposite.
Yeah,
Literally doing the opposite of what makes it so cool. I do want to see Furiosa though, because that also brings up another person that came real close to making my list,
yeah.
and that's Anya Taylor-Joy. I think she's incredible. But if it was top 10, she definitely would have made the list.
Oh yeah. You wanna? I want to tell you all my people who didn't make the list, like Halle Berry,
Okay, go for it.
Sharon
Okay.
Stone, Jodie Foster,
Yeah.
Jennifer Jason Leigh, and Jamie Lee Curtis. There's probably more.
All solid picks. Yeah, all solid picks. Especially Jodie Foster came very close to making it. Like I considered her.
I did. I really loved
too.
Silence of the Lambs, but like other than that,
Yeah.
I can't think of anything.
Yeah, she's in a ton of stuff
That's
that
all like
isn't really that
chick flick
notable.
stuff. Well, I guess I don't I'm talking out my ass. I have no idea.
I don't think she's in a lot of chick flicks.
Okay.
She's in a lot of like kind of just forgettable stuff. Like there's Panic Room, which is I like that
She
movie. It's a
was in
fun
that.
movie, but it's completely forgettable. It's
Oh.
her, Forrest Whitaker, and
I like him.
that girl from Twilight. I can't remember her name. Kristen Stewart, when she was like a little girl, plays her daughter, and
She was little.
I think there's some like singer in it too.
It's like I've seen that movie and I don't remember any of those people.
Yeah, exactly. It's a very forgettable movie. I don't know why I remember as much as I do about it. I think because my mom really loved that movie and watched it a lot.
Maybe I'm thinking
So-
of a different Panic Room style, locked in a safe or something when thieves are trying to break in or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the premise of the movie.
Yeah.
But all right, have you watched any of The Boys?
Yeah. I haven't seen the last few seasons, but I think I watched the first 2 seasons. And after that, I was just tired of it. Like the
Yeah. I
CGI
haven't watched
blood
the fourth
didn't work for me. Like it was super gory, but it was, I don't know. It's like I was kind of laughing at the scenarios. But
Well, I do think it's satire,
yeah,
so I think it's supposed to be a little bit silly. Like a lot of the violence you're supposed to be laughing at, I think.
I have read not this comic strip, but the guy, he did a zombie comic book that I read. What's the name of it? But it's like really horrific. It's like all
Okay.
like gang rape and incest and like all the
Yeah.
um, more likely
Extreme.
scenarios that would happen than you get out of like The
Yeah.
Walking Dead and
Yeah.
Fallout.
Yeah, the thing about The Walking Dead is like I think it's realistic for a little while, but after like several years of that, I
Yeah.
think humans are a little more cooperative than that show makes them out to be.
I don't know. I never got past the pilot.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just like I'm done with zombie movies.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty burned out on zombies too. But anyway, I brought up The Boys because there's a really interesting casting choice that they do. I think it's in season 3, but there's this Nazi bitch that they end up defeating at some point. Yeah, and then they do like one of those clips where they're showing like the movies they're making about the superheroes, and in that clip, Charlize Theron plays the Nazi bitch, which I thought was interesting because she's a blonde-haired white South African that came up during apartheid. So I thought that was an interesting choice to make that comparison. And I know they did it on purpose. They had to have. They had to have known what they were doing. But yeah, she's awesome. All right, so my number 3 is I actually have not seen a lot of the movies that she's in, but the ones I have seen her in makes her one of my all-time favorites, and that's Frances McDormand from Fargo.
Oh, okay.
And Burn After Reading.
Was she the main?
In Fargo, she's the sheriff
lady.
Yeah, her.
Yeah, classic.
Yep.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, she's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
Blood Simple.
haven't seen that. I did love Fargo.
Blood Simple, I think, is the Coen brothers as well. I think it's one of their really early. Let me look, because yeah,
Their
directed
movies
by
are
Ethan
real
Coen. It's
hit and miss with me. It's like I really love like The Big Lebowski, but I really hate like Raising Arizona, or I wouldn't say hate, but it's like Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? It's like, man, that's just not. I don't get it.
I like Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, and I like Burn After Reading is one of my favorites. And she's hilarious in that movie. She's so fucking funny. Like some of the facial expressions she makes, it's just,
Okay.
it's like, I feel like I've always had a coworker like that. That's just that person.
Huh.
And I had forgotten this, but she's in Primal Fear. You saw that, right?
Is that with Edward Norton?
Yeah.
Where it's the whole jury and then he gets off?
Yeah, he's got like the multiple personality disorder and he killed a priest and everything.
Yeah, and spoilers, the anti-love.
Well, it's not really a spoiler because that's like the whole premise of the movie. Like from the beginning, you find out that he has multiple personalities.
Well,
so then it becomes like
at the end, you know.
Oh yeah,
the
yeah. I didn't
reveal.
know if you remembered that or if yeah. So
Of course,
I didn't
love
mention that, but
yeah, we shouldn't give. I think that one's best left to curiosity.
yeah. But yeah, she is the psychiatrist in that movie that is very bad at her job.
Well,
let's see.
mean, psychiatrists are, yeah, they're not doing too hot.
You have to find a good one.
Yeah,
but I am a proponent of therapy. You just have to be careful that you don't get a bad one, because I've had bad ones, but I've had awesome ones too.
Yeah, I think he's only got the bad ones.
Yeah. That's a whole other conversation, but I think there needs to be more regulation as far as who can label themselves a mental health professional. Because, you get some crazy church lady or something, or some wacko hippie that they call themselves counselors, and it's like, it fools people, and then they just do more damage. Apparently, she is in Aeon Flux, however you say that. Which I didn't...
It's been a long time since I've watched it.
Let's see. Charlize Theron, of course. It must have been... She's listed as Handler. Do you remember that character?
Well, there was some like training montage things, I think.
Yeah. I don't know. I have not seen that movie. I remember seeing the anime back in the day, but I never actually saw the movie.
The anime's better in its own way. It's like they do things that you couldn't possibly do. Like
with live action.
Right. It's like you might be able to pull it off more nowadays, but back then it was like kind of cringy, but I enjoyed it. It got terrible reviews, or at the time, I thought.
I should probably just watch it at some point. But it was barely on my radar. And the only reason it was on my radar was because it was Charlize Theron.
I don't remember.
But, all right, who's your number two?
Seen that in theaters. I don't know.
You saw it in theaters?
Maybe.
Oh.
I guess I would have been in Okinawa or something. It's like the movies we
wow.
got on
Didn't
base
realize-
were like later. So it's like we got like the Lord of the Rings. Saw that on base. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I guess I didn't realize it was that old.
yeah.
Hmm.
I thought it was sometime in the early 2000s or late 90s. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, I thought it was around 2010 or so, but
yeah,
weren't you in Okinawa around 2004 or something?
I might have visited, but like I think I came back after I got out of the Marines, so that would have been in the fall.
Hmm. Yeah,
So,
I don't remember.
but yeah, I guess I was gonna, because I saw the Fast and the Furious like in boot camp, and that has
Okay.
Michelle Rodriguez. It's his
Okay.
totally in love with her, but like
I mean,
loved her
who
in
isn't?
Lost, like, and then it killed her off, so I stopped watching the show. That was a good call. Her and Echo
It's
were my
funny.
favorite.
Michelle Rodriguez is that one actress that I swear every one of my straight female friends is like in love with her. Like that's the one chick
What's
they'd go
not to
gay for. I'm like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like I guess the there was a D&D movie that came out. It was a comedy, and she was great in that.
Yeah. She was good in that.
That was a surprisingly good movie. I was expecting it to be awful. But, maybe that's why I liked it.
Yeah, I remember watching the other D&D movie with you and Nadia.
With Jeremy Irons?
Yep, that one.
Okay.
And it was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Pretty bad movie.
Yep. All around terrible. It's like not even bad where it's funny or goofy, or it was just boring.
Yeah,
Boring.
just a bad movie. Is that your number 2?
Yep. My number 2.
Okay. It's a solid one. Let me look her up real quick. Michelle. Okay, yeah, she's like in all of the Fast and Furious movies, isn't she?
I thought. I mean, I don't know, but it's like I thought I saw some article saying that it's like she read the script and she like kicked Vin Diesel in the balls and was like, "Give me more parts, stupid," and so they did.
All right.
I like that version of the story, so I'll go with that. That really happened.
Anger management. Wow, she does a lot of like B movie type stuff. Nothing wrong with that, but a lot of it. Oh, she's in Resident Evil.
And I cannot spell for shit today. Okay. You're making me look her up.
Yeah. She's one of those where like I always know who she is, but I can never actually name very many movies she's in because I haven't seen almost all of them.
Oh, what? Huh. It says she was in Alita, Battle Angel Alita, but must have been a
Oh,
cameo. Like I
I
don't
never
remember
saw
her
that
in
either.
that. Yeah, I was gonna say James Cameron might be the current Steven Spielberg, but is Spielberg still alive making movies?
Yeah, Spielberg's still alive. I don't know what his last movie was. Wow, he's actually younger than I thought he was. He's 78. I thought he was like already in his mid 80s.
Oh, okay. So he's same age as David Lynch. Damn cigarettes
Yeah.
got him.
Yeah, they will do that.
Yeah, I didn't realize he smokes damn much.
Let's see. Writer,
Oh, Machete.
director. Yeah, I was gonna mention that one.
Was she in the first one and the second one? Or
I actually haven't seen it.
she was.
I've seen. I know what it is because it was like a fake trailer on the other Grindhouse movies,
Yeah.
and then they made it a movie. But
Yeah. I watched that
I haven't actually
in
seen it.
theaters. It was awesome. We were drunk.
I do not like this layout on IMDb. Okay,
Danny Trejo is awesome.
I guess his Spielberg's latest movie was The Fabelmans from 2022.
Okay.
I haven't seen it.
Man,
Last one I remember was Ready Player One
I
from 2018, and
you
I didn't. Yeah, I didn't care for that movie.
James Cameron totally stole his crown.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's getting
senile.
let's see, James Cameron.
Oh, she was in Avatar too.
Yeah, I remember her in Avatar.
Was she a blue person?
No, I think she was just like one of the soldiers. Maybe she got an Avatar at some point. It's been a long time since I saw that, and I only saw.
Oh, she was in the Blood
And
Rain movie.
didn't care for it. And I like most of James Cameron's movies. I just didn't care for Avatar.
Yeah, it was really not good. Like I just didn't get why people love it so much. Oh, wait a minute.
I didn't either.
Aren't you the one telling me it was like it's a gorgeous movie to just look at? But beyond that, nothing.
Yeah, no, it's a good-looking movie, or at least it was when I saw it in the theaters. I don't know if it holds up.
IMAX.
But it looks really nice.
Yeah.
I just didn't like the movie. Just if I want that, I'll just buy a PlayStation 5 and play video games that look nice.
Yeah.
Because it's basically what that movie felt like. I was, playing a video game that I couldn't
control.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the whole movie's just a cutscene in a video game. Just a really long fucking cutscene.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Some of those video games are like Metal Gear Solid. It's like Final Fantasy because it's 30-minute cutscenes.
Yeah.
Why not just make a movie? Whatever.
I've been playing Final Fantasy VII again. The old one. which I hadn't played since
I haven't
probably
played that
your
either.
house, honestly.
Yeah, I never felt the need to revisit that one. I always thought that 9 was better.
I think for me, the only reason I wanted to revisit it as much as I did is because, like, I remember it being such a huge thing, and I played a little bit of it, but it's the only Final Fantasy game I really played.
Okay.
So
You're
it's the one I'm the
surprised.
most familiar with. But yeah, maybe eventually I'll check the other ones out.
I don't know. It's like I'm torn with, what is it? I think it's 15. The last one that came out on consoles. It's like a Final Fantasy Boy Band edition.
Okay.
But the gameplay of it is unique and fun, and so yeah, it's like I enjoy playing it, but the story is just barf.
Mm.
Anyway,
I did play a little bit of the Final Fantasy remake, the Final Fantasy VII remake,
hmm
and it's pretty cool, but it's just really cool to see everything updated.
yeah,
Um, but I didn't get that far into it, and it's only Midgard. Like, you don't leave the city. It's only that part of the game. And I don't know if they're ever going to update the rest of it, but
yeah, it's like, does it really need that? I guess the casino was kind of cool, but other than that, it's like 90% of the important stuff in the story is just Midgard.
yeah. Well, anyway, my number 2.
I know. Wait, hold on. I want.
Yeah.
It's like the death of
Yeah, go ahead.
Eris. It's like everybody was so torn up about that, but I remember not really giving a shit. And it's like I was like, "Why don't you love Tifa, you dumbass?" But anyway, I think the video
Yeah,
game that did push that button, like that made me like cry, it was Alundra. I don't remember if you remember that one. It's like this 2D Zelda like game, but
no,
it's
I don't remember that.
brutal. It's like you go to this town and they kill off every single person in the town. It's like you have a graveyard that's empty at the beginning of the game, and at the end of the game, it's completely full.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that one. I think
Well, I
there's
guess I
one.
should say the old Zelda, the top-down, like Link to the Past,
Yeah,
not the newer Zeldas.
yeah, I assumed you meant the older ones. There is one video game that came out recently that had a character death that actually got to me a little bit. I was like, damn, I'm actually kind of feeling this character death. Was Cyberpunk 2077, I think it's called.
Huh. Okay. And like, I love the originals, or the like on the Sega Genesis, like the
Oh
Cyberpunk,
yeah, I never played them.
or maybe it's called Shadowrun. Um,
Oh, I remember Shadowrun. Um, a funny story about Shadowrun. Uh, I had this friend, Brandon, who lived down in that other neighborhood, down the hill there, and he let me borrow his Shadowrun book.
okay.
And my mother found it at one point and flipped out.
I think I remember that
Yeah, yeah.
because I thought
It
it was
was a
pretty
whole
cool.
thing.
And that's not even. I guess there's drugs in it, but and tattoos. Ooh, scary.
It was a role playing game right in the middle of Satanic Panic, and my mother was an evangelical, so
Yeah,
she flipped her shit.
I guess they figured all those role playing games were all Satan all the time.
Yeah, they did. But yeah, there's a death in that video game, and it's very early on, but it does a good job of making you feel connected to that character, and then they kill him off, and you're like,
Spoilers.
out for revenge.
I haven't played that. I probably never will. It's like I look at the download and I'm like, I don't want to download that. That's too big. But
I know that is one of the drawbacks to it. And I played it on the PlayStation, and I had to delete some older games that I wasn't playing much anymore.
Yeah.
But I didn't like having to delete them. And then my biggest gripe with the game was that there's no third person. It's all first person.
Yeah.
And that bugs me because there's so much emphasis on like making your character look real.
Yeah.
And the clothes that you wear and stuff.
And
then you just never see them. It's
I think that's why
frustrating.
I like third-person soul-like games. But speaking of which, like I guess on character deaths, like there's this game. It's called Dragon's Dogma. At the end of it, spoilers, like you die. They kill your character, and it's not like your body is still there. But it upset me. Like, I don't know why it upset me, but it's like, it just, like, I guess I wasn't expecting it. And then they're just like, you die and then you get replaced by your helper, because, like, I guess your soul is transferred. And, yeah, I mean, the story in it is kind of, I don't know, Japanese goofiness. But, it's like a fantasy setting, kind of Dungeons and Dragons. Like,
yeah, I kind of figured, given the title.
But yeah, you kind of what is it, like Monster Hunter? Or you're like fighting these like monsters that are dragons, like the size of skyscrapers and stuff, and you're like crawling around all over. Good game. It's like it kind of ruined Fallout for me because the combat is so much more intricate. It's like in Fallout, you can shoot stuff, and then the melee is just swing sword.
Yeah, I don't care for the melee in Fallout. I pretty much never use it, unless I get swarmed by like dogs or something, and then it's kind of easier to just swing away until they're all. For the most part, like I never do like a melee build in Fallout.
Yeah, it's been so long since I played, I don't remember.
Yeah. But.
So yeah, that was a nice.
All right, so
digression.
That was a good tangent.
Yeah.
Good side tangent. Number 2 for me is Kathy Bates.
Kathy Bates. I need more to go on.
Mostly because of Misery, which is one of my all-time favorite movies.
Okay, I know who you're talking about now.
Yeah. Anytime, like, especially when I'm discussing horror, the question always comes up, like, what's the scariest? Oh, do movies scare you? They don't scare me. Like, that's not really the point. But there is one movie that freaks me the fuck out. It scares me to my core, and that's Misery. That movie is fucking terrifying. And it's all because of her performance. Like, because one of my greatest fears is being in a situation where I am like to a crazy person.
Completely helpless to a crazy person. Got it. Yeah, I was thinking of. Okay, I just lost it. Oh, it's a. So, David Lynch's daughter, uh, Jennifer Lynch. She did this movie.
Hmm.
Was it Boxing Helen? So it's this surgeon is obsessed with this woman, and he starts amputating her limbs and taking
Oh,
care of her in a mansion. Like, yeah, it's really twisted, really good. Although the ending
yeah,
was
that's pretty.
kind of like, what the fuck just happened? So she's
Yeah.
carrying the torch in that regard. But yeah, I was curious because she's made quite a few movies.
Okay, Kathy Bates
So no, Jennifer Lynch.
or Jennifer Lynch. Okay, yeah. Um,
But yeah,
yeah, the thing,
it has a similar scenario to Misery.
it is similar, yeah. And I read the book, and it's actually one of those rare instances where I like the movie better than the book. I think the movie just
That's
does a slightly better job. The book goes a little more into like sort of a weird codependent relationship that they end up having.
um,
Like it goes a little more in depth there, but it's the book, so you have the room to do that.
yeah.
But the book goes more extreme, which I think is almost a detriment to how scary it is.
Hmm.
If you go a little more extreme with the torture aspect, it becomes more of a it's harder to imagine yourself in that situation.
Yeah,
And
it's hard to know what was that during his Stephen King's cocaine years.
probably, yeah, because I mean that was like 2 decades, so yeah, I
Oh,
think
it
it
still
was.
does it. It's just called Adderall now.
Yeah, no shit. Um, but I think the movie just kind of walks that edge really brilliantly,
Yeah,
where it also does such a good job of building up, and this is mostly because of her performance, just building up like this. Okay, this is a terrible situation, and this is a weird situation, and then you see her kind of lose her temper, kind of a little mildly at first, and then it
hmm.
builds and builds and builds, and it's like you imagine yourself laying there in bed, like trying to determine when it is an appropriate time to fucking kill this lady or to attempt to, you know.
Oh, yeah, I think just
And
being locked up like that, bed sores and like for any
mhm.
extended period of time, having yeah,
um but yeah, she's amazing in that. She's it's a small role, but she's great in Titanic. Um,
hated them, whatever.
she was the played the unsinkable Molly Brown. Um, I don't like Adam Sandler movies. I like her in The Waterboy. She's hilarious, and
Oh yeah, yeah. Waterboy was yeah. It's like the okays that happens in that movie.
yeah, yeah. There's a couple of them that are okay. And then
I
I
guess
really
I
did
haven't
like Punch
seen.
Drunk Love. I thought he was great in that, but that's not really a comedy.
Have you seen Uncut Gems? Again,
I haven't, but
me
I've heard
neither.
really good things.
Yeah, but that doesn't really make me want to watch it. you know, so I don't know. I
It
guess
works for me. I mean,
I like seeing Adam Sandler as a dumbass. I don't want more dimension to his character.
he was in a movie. I can't remember the name of it, but it was like him and Seth Rogen and a couple other people, where he was like a famous comedian, but he was getting old, and like his career was like he was like a has-been, and he's all depressed and shit. And I remember thinking that movie was pretty decent. It wasn't great, but it was pretty decent.
Okay, I'm thinking of it.
But yeah, for the most part.
Movie that totally didn't have Adam Sandler in it, but it sounds like a similar scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Get the name of it.
Yeah, I mean it's not a new concept.
Because he opens for Faith No More. Like he's an actor doing a character, but it's like bad comedy and jokes that nobody is supposed to get. Or whatever. He's like drunk and has a comb over and forget the name of it. I don't think.
Did you ever see? Actually, I think you did see this. No, did I watch it with you? I can't remember. There was I don't think I did, actually. I think I just found it one night, late at night on TV. A movie called The Dark Backward. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
You should look it up.
Okay.
You should look it up. I'm curious what you would think about that movie. I know Red Letter Media talked about it at one point. I think they have a video.
The Dark what?
The Dark Backward. Yeah.
Okay.
I think Red Letter Media might have actually done a review on it.
Let's see. Alright. I will download it. Okay. So, anything else with Kathy?
Let's see. Is there anything? Not really. She's really good in American Horror Story, but I also don't like that show very much.
I haven't really seen
But
it.
she's in it and she's great. There's little fun moments. Like there's one season where, and it's one of the seasons I really liked, but she was like a sadistic slave owner back in the antebellum South. Like she like tortured slaves and like did surgical experiments on them and shit. And she ends up getting resurrected in modern day America. And like one of the characters like forces her to watch a bunch of Barack Obama speeches. Which is kind of funny. Yeah, fuck that bitch. But yeah, that's what I got for Kathy Bates.
Okay. My number one. I guess I must be part British. It's like, you're probably not going to know who this is. It's Alice Lowe, like Lowe's, the department store. But I think the movie she did do was like this cheesy comedy. It's if I can even say it right, it's like Prevenge, like a pregnant woman starts murdering.
Prevenge.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever. But yeah, she's going around murdering.
Yeah,
people.
I've actually heard of that. Okay.
But what I know her from is let's see, Marenghi's Darkplace, and she was also in the Mighty Boosh, a couple episodes, or maybe just one.
Okay.
She was in the Spider episode. Those two magician. Damn it, I can't talk today. Still can't talk. The damn music people. They're in a band. They're like finding the new sound. And yeah, she's like this nun or something. But,
she's in Hot Fuzz. Did you ever see that one?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Apparently, she is the like the hot chick that works in the grocery store.
Oh, okay. Sounds fitting. Like, I love her in Darkplace. If you haven't seen it, I would highly recommend it. It's got the IT crowd before they were famous. It's like who's that guy? Um, what is it? Richard
What's it called?
Adobe? I don't
Darkplace?
know. Yeah, Darkplace. It's a BBC miniseries. It's a spoof off of Stephen King. So they're in hospital, and Darth Marenghi is like a lead surgeon, paranormal surgeon.
Okay.
But I think it's on
Yeah.
YouTube. But it's hilarious. There's only like 6 episodes, something like that.
Well, it's on Peacock, which is good because I can't seem to fucking get rid of Peacock. I keep canceling,
Huh.
and they just charge me anyway. I've sent emails. I've canceled that subscription so many fucking times,
Um,
and then sure enough, every month
I would
it gets taken out of my bank.
change your bank info.
Huh?
Yeah, that's why I use credit cards. Like you can just cancel the
Yeah.
card and
Yeah, I have tried like switching over to one of my other cards that I use just to not have something connected to my bank account, you know?
yeah.
And they still fucking take it out of the original card. It's infuriating.
I'm in.
So don't trust Peacock, man. And
don't.
it's frustrating because the only time I want Peacock is during the summertime because they're the only ones that show the Triple Crown, the Kentucky Derby, horse racing.
Okay.
And it's the only way I can watch it because none of the sports bars around here fucking play it.
Okay.
And it's the only thing I gamble on. So I have to watch it.
Okay.
But anyway, Peacock. But yeah, that's that is someone I am unfamiliar with, but funny enough have seen a couple of movies that she's in. Also The World's End, Paddington.
Oh, she was in it. Wait, I'm
Yeah,
thinking of
apparently.
Get Up with the bear.
Yeah.
I don't
I
remember her in that.
I have not seen that all the way through. I feel like I've seen most of it just because it was one of the new releases on DVD when I worked at Family Video. So it's just one we would put on the TV.
Huh. I didn't realize I was that old. Damn.
I mean, I worked at Family Video like 6 years ago, so it wasn't that long ago. It was one of the last Family Videos, and it was a miserable, horrible job. And it closed. That store closed a few months after I left. And I don't know if there are any family left. Probably a couple. I think there's still a Blockbuster. Like there's like one in Ohio somewhere.
Like a museum piece.
Yeah. But
they've set up with the historic society.
yeah. It's like what do they call it? A heritage location or something like that.
Yeah.
All right. Ready for my number one? Just making sure you didn't have any more to say about.
No,
What is
not
it's
really.
Alice Lowe. Huh?
Yeah, that's her name. I think she wrote that movie too. The pregnant lady running around killing people. She blames it on the baby.
I can see that being a real thing that I could see seeing that in the news. Like,
That's probably how she got the idea.
yeah.
Wouldn't be surprised. That's like all the most horrific things in David Lynch's movies, like in Blue Velvet with the naked lady walking down the street. It's like that really happened.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was a kid in Montana walking down the street late at night.
Yeah, and I mean, who hasn't found a human ear in their yard before?
Like I found
All right, my number one.
roadkill, but not body parts.
Huh?
I found roadkill, but not too
Oh
many
yeah, I
body
mean,
parts.
So my number one is actually my favorite actor in general, male or female.
Okay.
That's why I asked, a couple weeks ago, I was like, do we want to split by gender? Because my favorite is actually, and that's Toni Collette. I think she's one of the best fucking actors working. And I don't like everything she's in, because she's made a lot of bad stuff. But she's always amazing.
Oh, okay. Was she in?
She's from Hereditary. That's her big recent one.
Oh, okay. I was getting confused.
But yeah, and she's really good with comedy too. But Little Miss Sunshine, she's the mom in that one. She plays moms a lot.
I mean,
But every time, like, one of my favorite scenes in a movie from like acting alone is in The Sixth Sense, where, because she plays the mom in The Sixth Sense, right?
oh, okay.
And
Yeah,
the scene at the end, huh?
I did not care for that movie, but I remember you
Yeah.
and your brother really loving it.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I think it holds up too. But I think a lot of the movie gets overshadowed by a lot of other stuff, like the big twist at the end and the fact that M. Night Shyamalan kind of lost his mind after that. But
yeah,
there's a scene.
Alien abduction movies, but whatever.
Oh, Signs?
Yeah. Thinking Communion or what's that other one? Maybe it's just Communion. I read that book a couple years ago. Like, that dude's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts on Communion. But anyway, the scene at the end of The Sixth Sense where he tells her that he sees dead people, right? And then he, like, kind of proves it to her.
Oh.
Her acting during that scene, the scene in the car, is just, I think, a fucking masterclass, because she reacts exactly how you would think a mother would react. And, like, you see her like it sinks in because she knows her kid has problems.
Yeah.
And then when he starts saying, like, talking about dead people, she asks him, like, do you see ghosts? And he says yes.
Okay.
And you see her, like, have to think, like, as a parent, like, oh shit, like, I knew my kid was kind of fucked up, but I didn't know it was like we might have to send him to a hospital or something. Like, my kid is really fucked up.
As an aside,
But then yeah.
I had gotten The Sixth Sense and Signs mixed up.
Oh,
I was thinking
that's
of
funny.
Signs, so that's fine. Whoops.
Yeah, I wondered why you went on the tangent about aliens, and I was like, oh, because he's thinking of Signs, which is M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah.
That's funny. But yeah, so she's calculating, like, I gotta deal with a really, really, really sick kid now. And then he keeps going with it, and she starts to get angry because then he's talking about, like, he wasn't moving, mother's be pennant and everything. It was actually her mother. And then she gets pissed because it's like, oh shit, he might actually just be a psychopath.
Yeah.
And then he starts to say things where she knows it's true. And all of that in, like, just a couple of minutes, just a few lines of dialogue, you see her realistically, and it's fucking breathtaking to behold. I just think it's one of the best acting performances I've ever seen. So I encourage you to at least look up that scene, the car scene from Sixth Sense, to see her acting. And then, of course, Hereditary is where she just kind of brings out the big guns as far as acting goes, and goes all out.
I don't know. I guess I just can't get over, like, I can't get on board with the demon possession bandwagon. It's like I just, like, it's a comedy to me. Like, I can't make that leap.
It's a trope, it's a thing, but I'm mostly talking about her acting.
You mean when her son died, or the daughter dies? See, like,
well, through the whole movie, really.
Okay.
Yeah, through pretty much the whole movie, I think she.
Well, I thought this.
Her whole performance is, like, on the edge. Like, even in the quieter moments, like, you can just see that this is a person who's about to fucking snap. So.
Yeah, I guess I'm more on board with the grandmother and the I guess the daughter that killed herself to take over the other guy's body.
Oh, right. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's good performances through the whole movie, but
yeah, I guess I was rewatching Twin Peaks, and there was this scene with Sarah Palmer. Oh, right, you haven't seen any of that. But, like, she's at this bar, and she, like, takes off her face and, like, bites off some dude's neck. And I'm just like, yeah, that's badass. And then later, I'm like, oh shit, she's, like, possessed by a demon. That's kind of terrifying. So yeah, I'm a sucker for the gore effects. Just
yeah, I mean, I think gore, it has its place. It can be fun, it can be impactful, it can be funny, but I don't need it, or I'm not like a gore hound. I'm not like, ooh, gory stuff.
Sometimes it's better left in the shadows, but
yeah. It goes back to the Misery thing where in the book, she like cuts off his thumb, cuts off his foot, and like burns him at one point. And in the movie, the big moment is she smashes his ankles, and
Yeah.
I just feel like it's more impactful. No
Yeah.
pun intended.
Well, I mean,
Uh,
yeah, I would think it'd be more painful too, but I guess I've never lost a limb, so.
yeah, I never have either. But that's the thing. Like, I have broken a bone,
Mm-hmm.
and I can imagine how horrible that would be more than I can imagine sawing off. Can't even like fathom what that would feel like.
Yeah, I would think it'd just be nothing. I don't know.
Yeah. Although the movie doesn't really do as good a job, but I did read 127 Hours, and his description of cutting off his own arm, that got to me. I was like, oh God, he did a good enough job describing it that I can
Okay.
feel what that would feel like, you know?
I haven't read that one.
It's pretty good. I read it long before the movie came out. I don't know. I just kind of happened across it, and I was like, wow, that sounds like a horrible situation. I got to read this.
Huh.
But that's why I don't go hiking without telling people where I'm going.
Like I totally did that a few years ago. Went to the Grand Canyon for a week. Like I left because I
Oh
started
man,
to get funky. Like I needed a shower. Like
you
baby
got
wipes work.
left?
Huh? What?
Did you say you left at the Grand Canyon?
No, no, I drove there. But I was by
Oh,
myself and I was like, nobody told me there were bears at the Grand Canyon. It's like I got there and I was like, oh
okay.
shit, maybe I won't sleep out in the wilderness. Like, I'll sleep
Yeah,
in my
probably
car.
not a good idea.
Yeah, yeah, I was totally
No,
unprepared.
I thought you said that you got left because you were getting funky.
Well, I
And
left the
then
Grand Canyon. Yeah, it's like
oh,
I was
gotcha.
just
You left the Grand Canyon. Okay.
yeah.
Um I thought I was picturing you just getting abandoned at the Grand Canyon, that's Joe Dirt. That's what happened to Joe Dirt. So,
Yeah, and I think my mom left me at the mall. I was playing the video games. I didn't even know she had gone. I guess it worked out.
oh
Like I
man.
got like an extra hour of playtime in.
Yeah, it worked out. You didn't get abducted.
Yeah, I think the one
Um,
time I might have gotten abducted was when I was 3. I don't remember if I've ever told you this. It's like this is a story my parents tell me a lot. Like when I was 3,
mhm.
um, let's see, my mom, it had snowed in Oklahoma, which is rare. But so she bundles me all up in the clothes and puts me out in the backyard and to watch my brother, like he's a baby, like an infant. And so I climb the fence and go wandering the neighborhood. And like it's this big ordeal. Like my mom freaks out, goes to the elementary school, and like her and the principal are driving around the neighborhood. And
Oh wow.
um, I guess I had gone like maybe 2 blocks, and like some old people lured me into their house with the candy bar. So it's
That
like
is fucking terrifying.
I I I thought it's like if I had been sexually molested, I would have thought I would have because I remember losing my virginity and it being like what the fuck had just happened? And
Right.
yeah, I think if you know that if I had, you know, something like that happen, I would have, you know, it would have been different. Losing my virginity.
Well, that was a tangent. The idea of losing a kid is really scary. The idea of losing a toddler is like next level terrifying to me because, like,
I remember watching my nephew, like, we're on the steps of the house, and I just look
uh-huh.
away, and down the concrete stairs he goes.
Yep, same thing. My nephew.
It's like a
Um,
split second.
yep. They're just so chaotic.
Yeah,
So they have no survival instincts at all.
right.
And it's terrifying to me to
Yeah,
like
I think
be
it's,
in charge of a toddler.
and it's like hardwired in their brain to like put things in their mouth. Like they just pop whatever in their
Yep.
mouth and eat it. Like,
Yeah.
so,
I remember one day I was sitting on the couch. It was me and Ben, and he's just kind of wandering around doing toddler stuff. And he walks over to the dog bowl and grabs like a handful of like dry dog food and just shoves it in his mouth. Right? And then like and he just barfs all over himself, laughs, and then keeps playing.
okay. Well,
And I'm like, these fucking toddlers are pure chaos, man. Like,
well, I remember my nephew again. He's crawling around on the floor, and I forget if it was dog poop or cat poop, but so he's going along and just, it's gone.
ugh, ugh. So gross.
Yeah.
I do remember Cameron eating bugs out of the back window of my mom's car when he was a toddler. Just, dead bugs.
I mean,
Ate a
those are
wasp at one point.
nutritious, at least. Like, I've never had
Yeah,
a
it's
problem eating bugs, except
it's
for
not a
roaches.
big deal, but it's not cat poop. So,
Yeah, it's like I did come up with this concept art. Like, I
mhm.
guess the headline of it is Solving World Hunger. And it's a bowl of cat poop and broken glass. Because, I mean, it's like whenever I'm hungry, I just think of that, and my hunger goes away.